Hello, my name is Jens and welcome to my channel. In this video I want to talk about self-love and reprogramming yourself positively. Self-love is a huge subject in and of itself, about which I could do multiple videos. It has many facets. But in this video I want to talk about reprogramming yourself with self-love. As we all know, we are all human. We all have repetitive thoughts, and some of those thoughts may not be that nice about ourselves. That these are our negative thoughts, like talking ourselves down. Certain patterns we get into in our mental space, and usually we do them. We're not really aware we're doing them. We're just doing them, and if we work on ourselves, we kind of become aware of them, and we catch ourselves even in the act of doing them. Like, oh my God, I'm thinking this again, and it's because we actually programmed ourselves a little bit in doing these. Usually limiting self-thoughts come from life experiences which were not that nice, mostly of them in childhood. And the earlier they happen in childhood, the more ingrained they are in our consciousness. So the more the negative experiences in our life, especially from our childhood, created certain belief systems, the more they will be ingrained in our mind, and the more we will tend to think thoughts that follow that belief system. And so, and everybody has those. We are all human. We could have thinking like, when you're just thinking negative thoughts about like belittling yourself in your own mind, saying, oh, you do this again, or you do that again, being critical of yourself. It's all, it's all part of that. These negative thoughts, these limiting thoughts that almost each person engages in. And our task is to of course, heal our wounds. So the negative charge from that negative experience is released and let go. But also in our mental space, catching ourselves in the act when we have these negative thoughts and actually changing them and reprogramming ourselves positively. Our negative thoughts are like, you can compare them to a road, and there's been tons of cars and trucks on that road, and they all follow the same pattern, and there's kind of like grooves in the road. And the cars tend to follow the grooves, because the grooves are where the most cars drive. And the same thing with our thoughts, Our thoughts tend to follow the grooves, and the grooves are our own creation because of repetitive thoughts. And we also have like negative grooves in our mind space, Our negative thoughts, our thoughts go into the negative groove. If you do a lot of negative self-talk and self-thought, we get into that groove. And we sometimes we don't even realizing we're doing it. So first thing about this is being conscious about it and catching yourself in the act when you do it. When that, that truck of negative thoughts gets into the groove, of negative thoughts. And a second thing is reprogramming ourselves with positive thoughts. Just as you had a lot of negative thoughts, and some of these negative thoughts, they can come back, they can go on for years, and so they create very strong grooves, very strong patterns within ourselves that we need to become conscious of when we do them, and then we gotta replace them with something that is positive, so we can actually let them go. I'm not that big of a fan of like getting rid of them. I'm more a fan of replacing them with positive things, and they will naturally fade away then. The getting rid of can sometimes be, like exercises to get rid of it can have its place, but if you want to get rid of it, you just keep feeding it. So, and so we have to create thoughts that actually we want to create nice grooves. We have the grooves of negative thoughts, but we want to, next to that, create a groove, the tracks of positive thoughts. And the more we consciously choose positive thoughts about ourselves, the more we're going to get into that groove of positive thoughts. So just as we have programmed ourselves during a lot of our lives to have negative thoughts, so we can program ourselves to have positive thoughts. And so when we catch ourselves in the act and say, okay, I'm not going to think negatively about myself today. I know, I acknowledge this is an old program. I forgive myself for thinking that. And then we switch, and then we think, For example, I am a very loving being, I am a loving person. For This is not the same thing as like people call affirmations. You know, affirmations is when you speak them out loud. It's just, you know, just thinking it and having a feeling. So when you catch yourself in the act, change the groove and think to yourself, put your hands in your heart, for example, and think to yourself, I am a beautiful person. I am a very loving person. I am deserving of love. That's a big one, because most people, a lot of people, have a subconscious belief system that they're not deserving of love, especially when there was trauma in childhood. So when we do that regularly, when we catch ourselves in the act, when we stay conscious of that, we create these, I mean, when we do that repetitively, we create these grooves of positive thought. And that's how we grow, that's how we become, that's how we go from a negative self-image into a positive self-image. We just consciously choose, we are the engine that drives. We don't go into these these old patterns anymore. We're changing the groove, we're changing the tune, and we're going into these positive tracks that we ourselves are creating each time we think positive and loving thoughts about ourselves. And these will create positive grooves, which we naturally, you know, will have an enormous effect on our well-being, on our self-confidence, and on our spiritual growth ultimately. And these help us to grow and heal. And this is only one of the very simple things we can do to help to get out of a negative rut, to get out of negative vibrations, and just to program yourself and with self-loving thoughts, you know. And each of these thoughts we can think should be based in unconditional love for yourself. It shouldn't be based like I'm gonna be this or that. If I do this or that, like if I show this behavior, I'm gonna think positively. No, you just do it unconditionally. You do it whenever. There doesn't have to be conditions, especially no conditions attached to it. And in this way we will connect to like the divine love which is already present in us. When we program ourselves positively, we open neural pathways for higher energies to come in. We open pathways within our own mind for loving thoughts to come in, and that way we can connect with love way more easily. So to close, I would say, is just be conscious, be aware when you do it, and we all do it, even people who practice it. You can practice it for 2 years. I'm not gonna sugarcoat things here. You can practice this for 2 years and still sometimes have, you know, a negative thought here and there popping up. It's because we're human. We all have, you know, we're like an onion and there's several layers, and once we have peeled off one layer, there's another layer coming. And this is a practice that we have to keep on doing, lovingly for ourselves, not being critical of ourselves. And this makes a huge, huge difference in our spiritual growth. And you know, you just gotta keeping on, you gotta keep on doing it. And that's how you reprogram yourselves in a positive way. We've done it all so much in the past, the negative thoughts, you know, and we just followed the tracks. But now it's time to cut the bullshit and to switch sides and to create the positive thoughts. And if you do it a lot, if you keep at it, you will naturally feel yourself becoming more light. You will feel, you know, negative thoughts will be less and less. They will not carry that heavy weight. And it's training your subconscious to be positive. Some people have trained their subconscious to be negative their whole lives, to have negative reactions to a lot of stuff. But we can train our subconscious, where our repetitive behavior, the seed of our repetitive behavior, we can consciously take charge of ourselves and train our subconscious just to be positive and happy. So I hope you found this interesting, and thank you for your time.